inside this languages object, let's call it that, we have two fields. We have the name field and the country of origin field. And before we can query this GraphQL API, we need to enable GraphQL for Strappy. And to do that, we go to our marketplace and we download GraphQL. But I want to do this with the okay, yeah. So I've already, this is already installed. I'll just refresh that, and yeah, there we go, already installed. Let's just add some data quickly. Let's test my knowledge of languages. That is Spanish. It's pretty basic, I guess. I'm not a linguist, or yeah, let's publish that. Yes, I have not professionally studied languages, so please do not quote me on these origins. We just need some quick data to play around with. So save that and publish, and we go back to our languages and we have some languages filled out. Great. Let me just give myself permission to actually query this. Yep. So we should be able to create, find one, update, and delete. Great. So I'll save that. And yeah, so that's basically how to get GraphQL running on Strappy. Once you create a new account with Strappy, you sort of build out this content type or content schema. Like I said, I sort of made the relation to the GraphQL schema where you have objects, which we call content types, and inside these, collection types, and inside these collection types, you have a collection of fields, just like we would have in a GraphQL API. So we have a languages collection type, and inside that, we have two fields, name of type text and origin country of type text2. We gave ourselves permissions to be able to query and make requests to our GraphQL API. And it's a quick run through. So before we actually get into playing with GraphQL, I want to explain some GraphQL tooling. So what is behind GraphQL? I think I showed you examples of queries, but I haven't really gone into what this query looks like. So whenever we make GraphQL requests, what we are really doing is sending a post request to a GraphQL server. And inside this post request, we have a JSON body. And that JSON body is whatever GraphQL operation we want to run. So going back to GraphQL operations again, let's just have a quick look at what a query would look like. So a query, Notion just taking a bit more time to load. Yep, there we go. So this is what a query would look like. So when we send that post request to a GraphQL server, we send a JSON body which contains this this data, and this is really telling your server exactly what you want. So you're saying, I'm trying to run a query on this API, and for this query, I want to access this object, and from that object, I want these fields, but I also want another object, and from that object, I want this field. So it's like I said, it's basically sort of just picking out fields from objects. And that's exactly what happens when making a GraphQL request. We're just sending a post request with a JSON body. And the server responds with exactly what data we requested in our query and our mutation. Yeah, so a tool I will be using very soon is called the Graphql Playground. So this is a graphical interactive in-browser GraphQL integrated development environment, IDE for short, that was created by a company called Prisma and is based on a tool called Graphql. So Graphql Described here is also an IDE that enables you to construct queries by clicking through different fields. So we won't be using Graphql. We'll be using something called a Graphql API. But just to, I'm explaining both because depending on what Graphql Playground you're using, what Graphql server you're interacting with, you could either be interacting with it using a Graphql Playground or a Graphql. I pronounce it Graphql. I hope that's the right way to say it. It sounds cooler than GraphQL, to be honest. So great, yeah. So the playground, like we'll see, has some really basic features like syntax highlighting, intelligent types, and real-time error highlighting. Hopefully, I don't get to make any big errors, so we won't have to see that. But yeah, we'll access the GraphQL Playground, and this is exactly that. I'll just zoom in